What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Your New Orleans Saints had a little bye week to regroup, to find themselves. Like Mickey Loomis says, right? There's not too much more building character or team that you're going to do in this final portion of the season. Over these last 7 games, you're just going to discover who you are, right? Like who the truth of who you are is going to be revealed. And right now, the truth appears to be a bit of a muddled mess. You appear to be wildly inconsistent, as we laid out in some stunning visual representation last week. You appear to have the worst offensive coordinator in the entire NFL, and it's not even particularly close. Like an OC that is such an outlier as to boggle the mind. What's funny about this week, Jake, is if we would go back to those charts, the only name that is in the same neighborhood as Pete Carmichael on like the lack of creativity, the lack of success, everything else, is Arthur Smith of the Atlanta Falcons. And like the Saints, who we believe have a lot of great weapons, yet do almost nothing with them. I know there's a lot. I mean, y'all can speak to this more. There's a lot of fantasy football owners out there that they hate Arthur Smith.
Yes, all the Bijan owners are ready to murder him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's me. That's right. Yeah, I'm mad at him too.
Just like the Kyle Pitts owners the 2 years before that.
Yeah. And so get ready, because in what is just maybe one of the NFL's most time-honored traditions, we got bad on bad for Saints Falcons once again. The two worst play callers in the game going toe-to-toe to see who can be more inefficient with their offensive weapons. And guess what? Desmond Ridder, Jake, back under center for Atlanta.
I know they're going back and forth, and I know Heineke was injured as well. And so I don't know. I don't know that we can find a way to good offensive football in this one. I could try to find you a way, but both teams just struggling. The Falcons might be worse though, because like their weapons that they have, like they don't even try to use them. I mean, we're talking fantasy football here, but all jokes aside, I mean they have like Drake London and they have Kyle Pitts and they have Bijan Robinson. Like they don't use their weapons at the same clip that it feels like the Saints don't. Now, the Saints will use them, but you just want them to use them more and in certain situations. The Falcons, T-Bob, they don't use them at all. Like, they just disappear for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, where did that very highly talented first-round pick go?
Bijan had
Is he
so
hurt?
many sick highlights, too, like the first couple of games.
Well, there was people like, wait a minute, did they not put it on the injury report? Like, was he hurt all week? It's like, no, he wasn't. We just, the game plan didn't call for it. It's like, oh, the game plan doesn't call for a top 10 running back when running backs just don't get selected in the first round.
You don't want your first round running back to get hurt though. You got to protect him.
Sure.
I
Look,
mean,
when you draft a first round running back, you know that you're going to sign him for 5 years, and that's going to be his 5 best years, and after that, probably going to go downhill from there. That's what that position is. So that for those 5 years, we are going to just grind you into the ground because we're trying to get 5 years out of you.
That is the most mind-boggling part of it. That's where maybe we should champion Arthur Smith. Because here he is advocating for player safety, longevity, trying to not just crassly take advantage of a great player on a rookie contract. He's trying to make sure that Bijan lasts in this league. There's something actually very noble about what Arthur Smith is doing.
I mean, they take Drake London 8th overall. This year, he has 40 catches for 474. He's missed some time, but still only 2 touchdowns, only averaging 11 yards per catch. Like, that's a top 8 receiver. When you select somebody top 8 at that position, you're expecting like explosive nature and pushing the ball down the field. And they're not even using him the way that everybody else uses a receiver like a Drake London.
I'm potentially stepping into, one of these things where you're all going to be like, what the hell, T-Bob, do you even watch football? But like, what's going on with Kyle Pitts? Like, is he hurt? Does he play?
35 for 419, 1 touchdown this year, and 12 yards per catch.
And that's the thing. They're using
4th overall
Jonnu
pick.
Smith, their other tight end.
Yeah.
Jonnu Smith, he's kind of been their number 1 receiver this year. I mean, you just heard the bad numbers of Drake London, so they're not using London. Jonnu Smith's getting snaps over Kyle Pitts. They're not using Bijan. I mean, I don't know what's going on over there in Atlanta.
The weird part about that is, like, normally, I'm surprised that Arthur Smith has that kind of pull, because normally ownership calls down like, hold up now, you know, we put capital into this guy.
Yeah.
Like you better. I don't care what you got to do. You better figure out a way to play him. But I guess Arthur Blank has full. Blank has full trust in Smith.
Well, look, I mean, the Falcons' backup running back has the same amount of carries as Bijan. Both have 125. The thing is, Bijan's averaging 4.9. The backup's averaging 3.2.
Yeah.
4.9, 3.2. Like 3.2 is that's like fullback stats. Like when you get all the 3rd and 1 carries.
What's more frustrating this year? Cheering for the Saints offense or cheering for the Falcons offense?
It might be the Falcons.
I mean, that alone almost makes me feel Falcons. But then again, we do have situations where we're like, Taysom Hill is dominant when he gets 8 carries, or like 1,000,001, and then he gets 1 carry the next
I think for sure it's the Falcons, because look, Pete Carmichael, what do we talk about? He's not creative. He's not all this. The Falcons have these weapons, and they're not even on the field.
Yeah, so at least the Saints are on the field.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at least the Saints are on the field. They're just not getting the ball to him. The Falcons aren't even using their weapons.
It's just bad play calling. Like the Falcons is bad play calling and use of personnel.
Damn. But again, like I said, when you're talking about Saints Falcons, you're talking about one of the best rivalries in the NFL from a geographical standpoint, a fan hate standpoint. You're also talking about one of the most inept rivalries in league history, as these are two franchises whose majority of their history is just defined by bad. And here we arrive once again, a sub-500 battle between the two worst OCs in the NFL this Sunday. Let's go, boys!
And with all the bad numbers and, you know, the bad head coaching record for Dennis Allen, he is undefeated against the Falcons. So hopefully he can keep that going.
That makes you feel awful. That makes you feel like it's
if he didn't have that, he'd be top 5 worst winning percentage of all time.
Hey, as rough as the last 2 years have been, they've been one step ahead of Atlanta. That might mean nothing for some fans, but for some Saints fans, I know
that's true.
At least
and to be fair, Nielsen and Allen, that's a good DC on DC matchup.
Yeah.
So and obviously both know each other inside out. So we'll see where it goes this Sunday. But,
and to their credit, their defense has been really good. I mean, despite all their offensive troubles, they're still in the race of division, and they had a good offseason when it comes to signing defensive players. Going out and getting Jesse Bates from the Falcons.
You love that move.
Bud Dupree at linebacker. Well, he's been really good this year.
No, I mean, in those ways, the Saints and Falcons do kind of mirror one another in terms of the inconsistency which they played. They're good on the defensive side of the ball. They're not nearly as good on the offensive side of the ball as they should be.
And Cincinnati misses Bates too.
And we'll get to Cincinnati, man. That news broke after our show the other day. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.